Hi, welcome back to Westbury 101. I'm Brian Westbury, Chief Economist at First Trust Portfolios. Remember, we want to be the antidote to conventional wisdom. Well, conventional wisdom sure is dour. We've known that. We've talked about that for months and months on end. But what I want to suggest is that I think lots of people are suffering from economic hypochondria. Hypochondria is when you think you're getting attacked by some terrible disease and it's going to take you out, and people just get worried. They want to go to the doctor and be reassured all the time. And so let me be the economic doctor today and kind of talk about what's really going on with the economy. Now, remember, with economic hypochondria, it doesn't matter what happens. If oil prices go up, well, that's awful, right? It's a tax on consumers. But if oil prices come down, you listen to the talking heads sometime. They'll say, oh, that's a sign of weak foreign demand or weak demand around the globe. What about the savings rate? When it goes up, oh my goodness, people aren't spending. It's a new normal. When the savings rate goes down, well, that's obviously terrible because people aren't saving. I mean, this happens everywhere and in everything we look at. And what I want to do right now is just quickly talk about some of the data that we've seen so far this year. In the last 7 months, the first 7 months of 2010, January through July, non-farm payrolls on the private side, this has nothing to do with government, private non-farm payrolls are up 90,000 per month. Now, clearly, this is not gangbusters. But it's not zero either. The economy has begun to recover. Real GDP in the second quarter grew 1.6%. That's a revision downward from 2.4. Yes, we had forecast a number that was significantly higher than that. If you go back to the beginning of the year, we've been expecting the economy to grow much more rapidly, but one of the reasons real GDP growth was so weak at 1.6% was because we imported over 30% more stuff into the United States during the second quarter. And remember, imports are a subtraction from GDP. But when we import, that means consumers and businesses are buying. And so when we look at gross domestic purchases, the stuff that we are buying in the United States, they were up over 4% at an annual rate in the second quarter. Now, I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't look at overall GDP. I'm not trying to bounce around and use one piece of data versus another. But this whole concept of somehow consumers not buying because they don't have any jobs and because their confidence has been shaken, it's just not true. In fact, consumers and businesses increased their spending at a very rapid clip in the second quarter of 2010. So the question becomes, what happens as we go toward the end of this year? And I remain very positive about the fact that the U.S. economy will not have a double dip. There's really two reasons for this. Number one, the productivity of new technology, whether it's the Apple iPad or new Android software and Droid phones and smartphones, all of that, it's the combination of software, hardware, and communications. It is literally transforming our economy. When you put that together with just the power of the computer and the internet, what we're seeing is record gains in productivity. And I believe that that will continue as we move into the years ahead. At the same time, the Federal Reserve is very easy in its monetary policy. Whether or not they increase their quantitative easing or buy more Treasury bonds, it doesn't matter. With 0% interest rates, the Federal Reserve is actually causing an upward impetus to economic growth. And so when you put those two things together, they will keep the economy growing, even though there's uncertainty about taxes, uncertainty about the election, uncertainty about the cost of health care, and the actual, I was about to say benefits, but the pain of higher government spending. Lots and lots of people, including Paul Krugman, argue that government spending helps the economy grow. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. The more the government spends, the less the private sector has. That's one of the key reasons job growth is just 90,000 a month instead of 180 or 250,000 a month. Government has spent too much. Stimulus actually destimulates the economy. So let me close by just suggesting this, and that is when you have economic hypochondria, you want to hear bad news. Or maybe you don't want to, but it's sort of like it's the way that you're going. You're beset with the economy is beset with some deadly disease that's about to take it down. And as a result, people listen to economists in a different way. For example, if I said the economy is terrible, it is only producing 90,000 jobs a month, lots of people would say, oh, Westbury is a great economist. But if I say, hey, it's producing 90,000 jobs a month, it could be better. I wish it was better, but it's not. Government spending is holding us back, but it's going to remain positive. The economy is going to grow. People go, oh, he's out of touch. And the difference between the two is only an attitude. It's only an emotion. 90,000 jobs a month is the fact. You can do with it what you will. I choose to believe that the glass is half full and that the American economy is still entrepreneurial and innovative and creative enough to allow growth to continue despite some big mistakes by government. Thanks so much for visiting Westbury 101. We'll see you next time.